How's it going, everybody? I'm mainly making this for a buddy of mine that I met through YouTube called Smoking Rooster. Kind of let him see exactly how bad my jigster ended up and everything, and so I could kind of say what all happened to me and just how lucky I am to be alive. There's still hope in this bike. It didn't bend the frame. The motor's still spot on. I did, let's see here. Get down in here. I tried to move it a little bit for this. I did crush the shifter and my peg and everything there. You can actually see where the ground marks up to where I wrecked it, and I actually found some pieces of plastic up at the church that I actually hit. It's just amazing that I'm standing up and talking and walking and everything else right now, based on how this looks and based on how close I came to not being alive. Oh, but man, what a beautiful machine this was before I did it. It's been sitting outside collecting water and everything else for a while because I've been too under the weather. It took me all I had just to be able to roll this thing over enough where I could walk all the way around it and take video. I mean, of course I could part pieces of it and still make a little bit back on it, but I really just want less complications and more getting it done. So it would be more or less like me trying to take my slipped on exhaust here off because I love the way it sounded, and then just outright selling it to somebody that sells bikes wholesale at auctions or something and seeing how much I can get for it. I think maybe I could get a couple thousand, because when it was in one piece it was up in 5,500, 6,000 range anyway. Alright, to the whole reason I'm taking video and can't really find the time or the patience to type out the whole list of things that happened to me. Let's just say right out loud what did. I topped a hill going just over 100. I was on the road that day because I was very frustrated with somebody and was trying to relieve the stress by pumping up my adrenaline, which, as angry as I was, it really wasn't doing it for me. I was just not feeling anything and my mind wasn't there. And when I topped the hill at a corner that I knew was there, I guess I wasn't thinking, or my mind was elsewhere, because all I remember is leaving the driveway, and then I was in the ICU in Huntsville Hospital, waking up 8 days later because they had to self-induce a coma because I was flipping out while I was awake. I broke my hand. I had a full face helmet on. I had I'd say $700 suit with Kevlar lining and pieces of steel down my arm with padding on my elbows and on my knees. And that's what saved me, because even though my full face helmet was on, I broke my nose. I have a scar on my forehead from my head hitting the helmet. I was able to lay my bike over before I ran into the church, so the bike flipped 3 times and landed on a parking in a parking spot on one of the concrete slabs that you park up against. My body rolled, bounced, and hit the sign, the church sign that's made of concrete. On the scene, everybody thought I was dead. I had the death rattle, gurgling, moaning, everything else. My GoPro wasn't on during the wreck, but it got turned on when the state trooper got a hold of it. So I got to hear how all the EMTs and everybody else were putting their money down on the fact that this boy is a dead man and all this after I'd already been airlifted to Huntsville, or was on the way to Huntsville. My lung collapsed. I was bleeding internally. There was blood all over the ground. I mean, I even scuffed up my arm, and that was through my suit. One of my lungs collapsed. They had to take out my spleen because it was one of the things that was bleeding internally. Looks like my mom's done shown up over here for something. And maybe she won't interrupt my whole spiel on everything that happened to me. They had to take my gallbladder out. It was completely dislodged inside my body, floating around. I'd punctured my liver, and they had to go up through my groin and stitch it up. I don't know. They did a lot of crazy things with me as far as in the hospital. I shattered my knee and my leg all the way up to, where's my femur, all the way up to my hip, and they had to put in a 13-inch titanium rod. They had to hammer it down into my bone. They wouldn't give my wife any kind of yes or no of any kind when it came to if I was going to live or die. I think on day 6 they kind of told her they thought I was pulling through, but I had 4 surgeries in 3 days, and they had to screw in this little, I don't know, about this deep into my brain, or into my skull, to see how much pressure there was on my brain, because my brain had swollen so much that it was just smooth as it could be. As you can see, my wedding band's on the wrong hand because this is the hand that I broke, and my ring finger still won't, like, you can still see it sticking out there, and where the little places are, it won't go straight all the way, and it's so much on my knuckle that I can't even get the ring back over my finger. I was lucky enough they got it off before I swelled up, or got swollen up. It's hard thinking about it because it's hard to remember every single little thing. There's more. I lost my smell. My sense of smell is completely gone. But I'm not scared of motorcycles whatsoever. I want this thing. If this bike would have magically been healed with me, if it had had its 3 or 4 surgeries in 3 days and was sitting here ready to ride, I would have been riding it to physical therapy today. Just a lot of things to catch up with as far as my body goes, and as far as getting back on one. But if I can think of more, I'll post it on this just to be sure that I didn't leave anything out. But there seems like there's so much more. I don't know. Probably be reminded about 2 or 3 things when my wife gets home from work. All right, that was just so I didn't have to type it all out. If you could handle sitting through this whole video while you just stared at my bike and listened to me ramble on and on, now you know what happened to me, and you know that I'm not gonna say go slow, because you can't. I don't think that it's right for anybody to get or be on a machine that can go like a 1/4 mile in 9 seconds and go 182 miles an hour and not twist your wrist as far back as it can go. But if you are riding a motorcycle of any kind and you're not wearing a full face helmet and a suit from toes to neck all the way down your arm, you have 0 sense. 0. Even if you wreck at 20 miles an hour, you are going to be shaved down to nothing, and you are going to feel horrible later. If you survive, you will not feel good about it, because you are going to look like the Lobster Man. Wearing a suit sometimes might not be comfortable, but you can get on it and ride like a madman and still have a chance of being as okay as I am. I seriously, I mean, you can't see my body. You can't see the fact that I couldn't do this. Like, I can't bend my leg any more than that because of all the inflammation that's in my knee. But I can stand on this one leg and I can do all this. And my leg has one little scar right there besides where they cut me open. And as far as my nose, I don't have anything wrong with my nose. My face is completely fine, besides me having the little scars, which are really faint, and this weird messed up one that's up there somewhere where they put that thing in to monitor my skull and everything else, and how much my brain was swelling up. I'm in very good shape. My elbow, I don't even know, I can't see to be able to tell, but you might be able to see the little bit of a scar on my elbow that got scarred up even through my suit. And I'm telling you, that suit was heavy and was thick as all get out, and there was skin on the ground. If I lost skin and was wearing something where you couldn't even see anything but the lights in my eyes, I just really hate it for anybody that wrecks a motorcycle that's not wearing full gear. Good luck, have fun, because God, I can't wait to have fun again, and be safe.